Part 25. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 241. Without thinking too much, Zhang Cheng came back to his senses, looked at the frightened Zhou Hao, and said with a smile, "Okay, it's okay. There are only 10 all-purpose robots, and they are given to Zhou Hao's father-in-law, which can be regarded as an investment. He also took a lot of shares out of the original 100 million. How much is some meat?" After chatting with Zhou Hao for a while, Zhang Cheng left Tiancheng Group. For a company like this, currently, it is the best choice to leave it to the talents poached from various novel plots. After all the companies are merged, he will take up the position of chairman of the group. Zhang Cheng spent the entire day today at Tiancheng Group, watching a group of highly motivated people working. And after returning to his own office floor and planning his own business empire for a while, he left the company with satisfaction. After Zhang Cheng left the company, he returned to his villa. "I didn't go to Linqingjian and Suqingying to reminisce about the past. I handed over too much public food these days, almost nothing. Fight again after you have rested." "Hey, has my car been delivered?" In the villa, Zhang Cheng was sitting in the garden yard of the villa, lying leisurely. "Master Zhang, all the cars have been recycled. Except for 2 cars that were bought by others, the rest are still there." A middle-aged voice sounded on the phone. Zhang Cheng said and then said, "Drag them all back." There were more than 20 supercars. When the Zhang Group went bankrupt, all Zhang Cheng's belongings were taken out for debt auction, but some of them were not sold. Last night he ordered people to get his car back. Until 8:30 in the evening, Lu Feng and Qin Ming drove their respective supercars to Zhang Cheng's villa. Tonight, Lu Feng changed into a car, an Aston Martin 177, worth nearly 50 million. Qin Ming's is a world-limited Koenigsegg 11, worth hundreds of millions. In the eyes of these people, cars are not worth showing off. Of course, those who love to play with cars are not included. On Qin Ming's left hand, he carries a Richard Mille RM056 worth more than 17 million. Lu Feng's is more ordinary, a Vacheron Constantine worth more than 9 million. As the two people waited, a Lamborghini Veneno slowly drove out of Zhang Cheng's villa. "Let's go." Hearing Zhang Cheng's words, the two returned to the car and drove in. 3 top supercars roared and rushed out, speeding towards the racing track. At 9:30, a group of rich second-generation people gathered together in the racing track. Behind everyone was parked a sports car, ranging from Audi to Ferrari, each with a price of no less than 2 million. A group of young men and women gathered together, talking and laughing. Among the small group of more than 20 people, 2 people were faintly centered around them, laughing and chatting. One is Bai Fei, who is handsome with dyed brown hair. The other one is Ye Yu. At this moment, he is smiling and talking to the people around him. Hearing his calm words, the expressions of these rich second-generation people immediately changed. People from Kyoto. This is the advantage of establishing his own status as a powerful person. The rich second generation who used to not even look at him now wants to lick him in turn. And Mr. Liu. Bai Fei thought to himself, shouldn't it be? Will they let me go? Boom boom boom. Even the rich second generation who were fawning over Ye Yu were attracted by the roar. It turns out that young Master Ye is from Kyoto. That's disrespectful. No wonder Mr. Ye is so generous, that's not surprising. Whose is that Lamborghini poison in the back? Master Ye's Pagani Zonda is so cool. It's the first time I've seen a real car. A fat second-generation rich man licked his face and said with a smile. The family named Ye in Kyoto. That one at the back is, his, Mr. Zhang. Is he really here to participate? Bai Fei nodded, and then looked around. There were 50 or 60 people, not too few. The little fat man was startled when he heard this, and then said, "Master Qin?" "No, I was outside to register people who came in, but I didn't see Master Qin coming. Where is brother Ye from? Bai Fei stood beside him and smiled at Ye Yu. Now, regardless of whether they are the second generation rich men or women, everyone is more enthusiastic about Ye Yu. Suddenly he frowned slightly and asked, "Are Qin Ming and the others here?" When the three cars stopped in front of everyone, the doors opened and three figures came out. Enjoy. They are all people who are not short of money, but for a supercar like this, you need to have some skills to buy it. Yeah, you didn't think about it and said directly, "My hometown is Kyoto. It's Mr. Qin." Wow. A group of second-generation rich people also kept praising Ye Yu, which immediately gave him a great sense of satisfaction for his vanity. "Master Ye, are you free tonight? Let's have a midnight snack together." "Damn it, Koenigsegg 11. The arrival of three top supercars immediately caused an uproar among the rich second generation. An Aston Martin 177. The current price of this car is almost over 50 million. "Master Ye, don't be modest. You have to be strong enough to buy it." Hearing this, Ye Yu also had a smile on his face and said modestly, "It's not worth a few dollars, so let's leave it like that." Suddenly, three roars came from outside, instantly attracting everyone's attention. People in Kyoto are easy to do. Although his identity is fake now, Ye Yu believes that he will become a truly rich man in the near future. After praising Ye Yu for a long time, a little fat man hurriedly came to Bai Fei and said respectfully to him, "Mr. Bai, the time is almost up, and what is supposed to come is almost here." "Yes, Master Ye is worthy of being Master Ye. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO." Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 242. Zhang Cheng's arrival instantly shocked the rich second generation. Really come. In the eyes of this group of people, Zhang Cheng is the representative of peak youth. Among the rich second generation of similar age, no one in the entire Demon City can compare with Zhang Cheng. Especially when it was recently revealed that Zhang Cheng was involved in both Tiancheng Group and Tiancheng Technology. This made everyone respect him even more. Some of them were friends with Zhang Cheng, but since Jiang's family went bankrupt, these people couldn't wait to delete Zhang Cheng. Now that I see Zhang Cheng coming over, I can't help but feel a little trembling. In fact, Zhang Cheng didn't even want to know these unknown people, let alone what they had done. Zhang Cheng was dressed in a top-notch custom-made suit and wore a Patek Philippe on his wrist. Not only was he good-looking, but his temperament was enough to be called an immortal. Her eyes are bright, like stars, her facial features are handsome, and her temperament is extraordinary. Many rich second-generation girls in the entire racing circuit were drunk. They were so handsome. Men like Zhang Cheng have a charm that women cannot resist. So hot. Mr. Zhang is so handsome. If I could marry such a man, I would lose 5 years of my life. What are you thinking about? I'm satisfied if I can have sex with Mr. Zhang once. Listening to the whispers around him, Ye Yu frowned slightly. When he looked at Zhang Cheng, he was suddenly stunned that Zhang Cheng was indeed handsome. Much more handsome than myself. Only. Ye Yu didn't know why, but when facing Zhang Cheng, there was always a sense of disgust in his heart. Feeling this change, Ye Yu suddenly felt relieved. This Zhang Cheng is definitely not a good person. Otherwise, I won't feel any disgust towards him. So far, those who have made me feel disgust have ended badly. Mr. Zhang, we meet again as the initiator of this drag racing competition. Bai Fei walked up first and greeted Zhang Cheng with a smile. Zhang Cheng glanced at Bai Fei and said with the same smile, "Long time no see, Mr. Bai." Looking around the racing track, Zhang Cheng also saw that there was a person standing in front of him who could be noticed at a glance. Seeing that the young man's appearance was a little worse than his own, Zhang Cheng was sure that he was Ye Yu. Since Zhang Cheng obtained the luck values of the two sons of luck, Zhang Cheng has become more and more sensitive to the sons of luck. Buzz. Suddenly, a transparent virtual panel unfolded in Zhang Cheng's eyes. Protagonist, Yayu, son of luck. Luck, 100. The full level of luck is 100. The lower the luck, the fewer opportunities the protagonist has. Doing other things will be interfered by luck and will not go smoothly. When it drops to 0, the title of Son of Luck will be deprived and the host task will be completed. Attributes. Strength, 140. Reactions, 144. Speed, 150. Charm, 141. Note, the standard for a normal adult male is 100, and the maximum charm value is 149. Skills mastered, Esports level 9, 1100/10,000. Eat level 4, 4511/5000. Driving skill level 9, 8800/10,000. After seeing Yayu's personal attribute board, Zhang Cheng was stunned. Oh, this is still an experienced driver. Although Yayu has more than 20 skills in his list. But most of them are at level 1 or 2, and there are not even a few above level 5. However, his attributes are much stronger than Chen Luo. It seems that the rewards given by his Shenhao system have strengthened his attributes. It's almost time to catch up with Zhang Cheng. Until now, Zhang Cheng's attributes are still stuck at 175. Mr. Zhang, let's go. Let's draw lots to decide the order of racing by phase. Voice pulled Zhang Cheng back from the system space. Zhang Cheng nodded, followed him to a box, and took out a piece of paper. The racing track is 5 kilometers long, and opponents are determined by drawing lots. There are 3 cars in a group, and the competition adopts an elimination system, and the winner advances to the next round. There are a total of 30 machines on the field today, which means there will be 10 matches. Before each race, other non-participants can freely place bets on their favorite cars, and the organizer is responsible for counting the bets. For the rich second generation, it would be too boring to play racing without stakes. Therefore, in this competition, a bet was also set up, with a hand of 200,000, and one of the 3 people would win, with a 1/3 probability. I opened the paper and saw it was the 24th. Zhang Cheng handed the paper ball to the announcer, who read out Zhang Cheng's entry round. After completing the process, Zhang Cheng came to the rest area and sat down, waiting for the game to start. This time he came to participate in the so-called rich second-generation drag racing. He just wanted to see the fake gods and suppress his luck. Moreover, in this drag racing competition, there is also an opportunity for Yayu. As a man who wants to plunder the fate of his son, how could he let go of any opportunity for the protagonist? As soon as Zhang Cheng sat down, Lu Feng sat over with a bottle of mineral water. Look at that guy, I don't know why, but I always have the urge to beat him. Lu Feng raised his chin in the direction of Yayu. Zhang Cheng was slightly stunned as he watched Yayu accept the praise from a group of rich second-generation people. Then he laughed and shook his head. It seemed that those who had been in close contact with him had become villains, and they didn't even have a good impression of the Son of Destiny. Zhang Cheng understands this impulse, as long as Lu Feng dares to trouble Yayu alone without him being present. The one who got slapped in the face was probably Lu Feng. Brother Cheng, have you seen that woman? Just when Zhang Cheng was stunned, Lu Feng pushed him slightly excitedly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 243. Woman. Zhang Cheng followed his gaze and saw a girl with short hair. The girl has short hair parted in the middle. Under the short yellow-brown hair, she has a delicate oval-shaped face and a pair of clear and bright eyes, shining with light, giving her a girlish look. There was no man beside the girl, only 4 or 5 girls surrounding her. The girl looks young. Like Zhang Lai, she has just graduated from college. Under the light, a girl not far away was squinting her eyes and chatting and laughing with the girls around her. Mengli, you shouldn't leave when you come back this time, right? It goes without saying that Mengli has graduated and will definitely return to China. A group of girls were chattering around a short-haired girl. When Zhang Cheng heard the name they were discussing, he suddenly realized, was this Lu Mengli? According to the development of the plot, she should not have come to participate in this drag racing competition. It seems that the plot has changed again, but okay, just in time. If we change the strategy tonight, we can suddenly intercept the protagonist's two opportunities. Now that the plot has been inserted, Zhang Cheng has taken the place of a certain character in the novel. Therefore, Zhang Cheng has always existed in the eyes of these people. But Zhang Cheng didn't recognize some of the characters inserted into the plot. We can only determine which supporting character in the novel they are based on their names. Lu Mengli flipped a strand of hair on her forehead and smiled slightly. Of course I won't leave. Why go back after graduation? Wouldn't it be nice to stay here with you? She had just graduated from the United States and was preparing to take over the training in her own company. Lu Mengli hugged a girl in a short skirt next to her and gave her a kiss on the face, leaving bright lipstick marks on her cheeks. Make girls in short skirts blush slightly. Seeing this scene, the rich second-generation people around them who were paying attention to the small group of girls here all showed envy. It's so nice to be kissed by such a beautiful girl. The corners of Zhang Cheng's mouth twitched slightly. He had forgotten that Lu Mengli was positioned as a lesbian in the book Shenhao started by rewarding female anchors. Everyone sitting next to her should be considered a harem. Lu Feng withdrew his envious gaze, turned his head and said to Zhang Cheng, "This girl is so on point, but it's a pity that she's a lesbian." There was deep regret in his tone. It's a pity. Zhang Cheng glanced at him and said calmly, "Even if it's not lace, can a rich second-generation scoundrel like you catch her?" It wasn't Zhang Cheng who attacked him. As long as she is a serious girl, she will not have much affection for Lu Feng. In the end, my legs were shaking when I got off the bus, or I was so scared that they vomited. At this moment, almost everyone's eyes were focused on the field. Looking at Zhang Cheng who was indifferent, Qin Ming couldn't help but ask, "Aren't you going to choose one?" After taking a look at Zhang Cheng, Lu Feng decided to learn from Brother Cheng. But they are all afraid of death, so the speed is relatively slow, so when overtaking, they are a little scared. Then he waved his hand to signal the girl next to him to leave for a while, then sat down and explained to the two of them. Zhang Cheng looked at Lu Mengli over there and said lightly, "I want her to sit down." Hearing his words, Qin Ming was surprised and said, "Do you have someone?" After saying that, Lu Feng immediately ran over there and began to choose his favorite pressing seat. Qin Ming glanced at him and explained, "Of course. Where is the girl sitting next to you?" At this time, Qin Ming led a good-looking woman over and asked in surprise when he saw the two people sitting here. Lu Feng was stunned for a moment, and then said, "Damn it, you want a girl to sit down." Looking away from Lu Mengli, Zhang Cheng turned his attention to the track, where he was preparing for the first round of competition. "Damn, you should have told me earlier." When the second batch came off the track, Zhang Cheng withdrew his gaze. Following the direction of Qin Ming's finger, Lu Feng discovered that there was a row of tall, sexy, and good-looking women not far away. Everyone who comes here to do drag racing needs to find a woman to sit in the co-pilot, which is also a pressing seat during the drag racing process. This group of people like to see the girls being frightened by the turning and drifting. Lu Feng was startled when he heard this, and suddenly felt a little depressed. A man with a straight-cut hair that has remained unchanged for thousands of years, and in terms of clothing, that is simply a mess. But I didn't see it either. After feeling regretful, Lu Feng started to gossip again. His character was like this. As long as he couldn't get something, he would forget about it the next second. After all, the forest in the club and the little girls at school still like him very much. With the opening effect, the remaining players cheered for joy. Otherwise, why do you think there are so many young models and celebrities here? Zhang Cheng smiled slightly. The woman who is holding me down will not be one of those things. The temperament is very well controlled. In the end, under the excited eyes of a group of people, the fastest among the three cars was the GTR, which took first place with a time of 2.7 minutes. When Lu Feng went to the club, there was a treasure on his left and a deer on his right. Watching three cars chasing each other. When turning, the speed slowed down a lot. Three cars, two Audi R8s and a modified GTR, were on the track. Their engines whined. As the starting gun fired, the three cars started almost at the same time and rushed out quickly. Those are all top young models, or some third and fourth tier stars. These people like exciting things. Yes, look at Brother Cheng, he wears so many sexy bags that even a man like you would be jealous of him. The sitting posture is also careless. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 244. Qin Ming followed and looked over. When he saw Lu Mengli, a flash of surprise flashed in his eyes. Are you sure? This kind of girl will come and give you a seat. A girl with this kind of temperament can tell at a glance that she is not simple, and when she sees her hugging two women. Qin Ming knew that this kind of girl was a lesbian. What? Look down on me, Zhang Cheng smiled. Qin Ming waved his hands repeatedly and denied, I didn't say that. He couldn't afford to offend Zhang Cheng now. However, he really didn't think Zhang Cheng could let that girl hold him down. Although he was a social butterfly among the rich second generation of Shanghai, he really didn't recognize Lu Mengli. Lu Mengli has been studying in aristocratic schools abroad since she was in elementary school. It is an elite education route. Therefore, few rich second generation people in Shanghai know her. After saying that, Qin Ming suddenly saw Bai Fei and shouted to him, Bai Fei, come here and ask you something. Bai Fei heard this and walked over, then said, what's the matter? Qin Ming's status in the second-generation rich circle of the Magic City is similar to that of a young master from one of the 8 billionaire families. Except for one Lin Minjiao who has no descendants, there are several others. Now two people have entered the Song family, one is Song Qing and the other is Song Yi, so the Song family has no young master outside. Although Bai Fei is the only son of an old family and is similar to the Lu Feng family, he still maintains a relatively enthusiastic attitude towards Qin Ming. Who is that woman? Why haven't I seen her before? Bai Fei glanced at her, and then said, she is from the Lu family, Lu Mengli, who just returned to China some time ago and opened a pharmaceutical company. After listening to his explanation, Qin Ming understood. The Lu family pharmaceutical company has a pretty good market value, more than 20 billion. However, this family keeps a low profile, and no information about their children is made public, and Qin Ming doesn't know much about it either. What? Do you like her? But don't think about it, she is a lesbian, Bai Fei said with a smile. Qin Ming rolled his eyes, it seemed useless. They are all the second generation of rich people, so there is really no force to speak of, and they are not women who can spend money to break their legs open. After Bai Fei left, Qin Ming sat down again and sighed. Hey, good-looking skins are all the same, but interesting souls are unique. Zhang Cheng sneered and said, is this why you play with your beautiful skin? As I told you before, play less, or be careful of exposing the flowers. Qin Ming was playing too fancy before and almost got Hualiu out. However, after Zhang Cheng gave him a prescription, he went to grab the medicine and take it. After 2 weeks of abstinence, he started to live a life of indulgence again. After all, the princesses in his club are indeed very good looking. Qin Ming blushed and said, it's not that serious, I feel good. Just take what you need. As a gentleman, Lu Feng stepped forward to support the petite and cute female star, returned to her seat and sat down, letting her sit on his lap. Zhang Chen was too lazy to complain about him. If he didn't sleep with the woman for one night, Qin Ming would be dishonest. It's too low, not suitable for me. So they are very happy to come here to do the press seat. When Lu Mengli took her seat girl and drove her pink Porsche 918 onto the stage, the stadium immediately burst into even louder cheers than before. This is a sign of kidney deficiency. Everyone got out of the car with trembling legs. Even Yayu, who was surrounded by a group of rich second-generation people, looked towards the track. Soon, Lu Feng came back after choosing his female companion, hugged the waist of a third and fourth-tier starlet, and walked over with a smile on his face. Even the rich second-generation women are like this. Everyone comes out to have fun. This is how beautiful women are treated. Now he is called out by his young master to play. Most of these little stars are promoted by some of the rich second-generation people whose families own entertainment companies. Especially a stunning beauty with a good family background. Similar to Lu Feng, he will definitely not be able to escape from his grasp tonight, and a battle will definitely begin. Those who want to take over are still queuing up. It's just that the circles we live in are different. In the end, only Qin Ming advanced to the next round. And they will not refuse, because few of the celebrities who can be praised nowadays are simple and have very serious thoughts. Most of the women who were called to sit down have become playthings. This is a fact and it is their own choice. These top young models are like the bottom here, but in the eyes of the public, they are still unattainable goddesses. After one lap, I was completely in the lead, and finally won and successfully advanced to the next round. Qin Ming's face turned red at his retort. Lu Mengli is the sexy leader among this group of rich second-generation women, and her driving skills are also very good. Under the roar of the supercar, the two of them were so frightened that their faces turned pale. Although their driving skills are also good, they are definitely deficient compared to this group of wealthy second-generation people who often race cars, even though they all drive supercars worth more than $500 million. The kind that can't sleep if you don't grasp the mountains. People around were not surprised by this scene. Stop it, look at your face, have you had a split in your urine recently? Zhang Chen interrupted him directly and mocked. After Zhang Chen glanced at him, he stopped paying attention to him. Looking at Lu Mengli's perfect profile face, Yayu's desire to conquer arose in his heart, and he had some expectations in his heart. This is the goal that I should pursue. There is a group of rich second-generation people here, and just hanging with one of them can make more money than filming a movie. Looking at the young models again, Yayu suddenly felt a sense of contempt. Soon, Lu Feng and Qin Ming came on stage one after another. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 245. Originally, Bai Fei found a third-tier star for Yayu. Because he revealed that his hometown was Kyoto, Bai Fei immediately arranged for his younger brother to find him a relatively popular third-tier star. Everyone who comes here knows what to say and what not to say, so this kind of thing cannot spread. Yayu was also very happy. It was exciting to think about someone else's goddess being his plaything. Now that he saw a girl like Lu Mengli, Yayu suddenly felt that the pressure around him was not good. However, it is still a piece of meat, so eat it first and then find an opportunity to interact with Lu Mengli later. 13, 14, 15 comes on, soon, the track was cleared. The next group of people starts to play. And Yayu happened to be number 15, so he also got on the bus with his pressing seat. When the Pagani Zonda hits the track, the boasts of Yayu's newly acquired rich second-generation friends could be heard all around. Master Ye, come on. Yayu smiled proudly when he heard the crowd cheering. He was the one who had achieved God-level driving skills before, and he was also rewarded by Pagani. Therefore, He has absolute confidence to win the first place in this drag racing competition. After everything was ready, Yayu shot out directly. The reason why Pagani Zonda is called the son of the wind is because under very large wind resistance, in the wind tunnel test, the air intake dam, rear spoiler, and air diffuser can operate at a high speed of 297 km per hour. It produces 500 kilograms of downforce on the car body. Coupled with the uniform proportion of the body, Zonda can still ensure the stability of the body even when traveling at speeds exceeding 300 km per hour. Therefore, Yayu almost galloped all the way, leaving his opponent far behind. In the passenger seat, the pressure seat was so frightened that he screamed repeatedly and his face turned pale. Hearing the roaring sound in his ears, the sound of tires screeching, and the screams of the actress next to him, Yayu was very excited for all these reasons. It turns out that this is the life of rich people. It's so cool. However, under his deliberate control, the car finally won the first place in this round with a score of 2.1 points. The car door opened, and the petite actress in the passenger seat got out of the car with trembling short legs. Then he followed Yayu and returned to his seat to sit down. However, as soon as she sat down, she couldn't help it anymore, covered her mouth, and hurriedly ran to a distance and vomited. Seeing this scene, Yayu also smiled slightly, took out 2 bottles of water from the mineral water box at his feet, and walked over slowly. After she finished vomiting, he stretched out his hand and handed over the water. Wang Meng, a petite actress, glanced at him gratefully. "Thank you, Mr. Yet." Yayu's heart trembled. He heard a nice voice and pretended not to care. He handed over a pack of tissues with a smile and said, "You're welcome, just wipe it. It feels like this the first time you sit down. Once you get used to vomiting, good." This is also very correct. Although she was not as beautiful as Lu Mengli, her voice was nice and her petite size made Yayu feel protective of her. Wang Meng was immediately moved when she saw Yayu being so gentle. As a young star, she has seen too many rich second-generation people with an undisguised desire and covetousness for their own bodies. There are not many second-generation rich people like Yayu left. Wang Meng whispered, "Young Master Ye, you are so kind. I really like such a considerate boy like you." Hearing this, Yayu smiled even more happily. So I talked to her here again about my inner thoughts. In one place, Zhang Cheng was sitting on a chair with his legs crossed. He looked at Yayu's situation and raised the corners of his mouth. "That's pretty good." Unexpectedly, Yayu's love luck was so prosperous, much better than the previous 2 sons of luck. At least the first 2 are bachelors, and Yayu may have his first meal tonight. It seems that the will of the story world can't bear to see you stay single. Zhang Cheng smiled. This Wang Meng and Zhang Cheng also knew that in the original work, she was originally the host of the organizer, but because it was connected to the plot, the organizer became Bai Fei, whom Zhang Cheng knew. She can be regarded as a third-tier star in exchange for her body, and she has had relationships with 3 people. Quite a few. It seems that Yayu has taken over now. Number 22, 23, 24, come on. As time passed, it was finally Zhang Cheng's turn. Zhang Cheng stood up slowly, and then came to Lu Mengli under the puzzled looks of Lu Feng and Qin Ming beside him. When he stood in front of these girls, the chattering here suddenly stopped. Each one showed a look of obsession. So hot. Zhang Cheng's full charm value, coupled with the 50% bonus to suit thug skills, immediately attracted these young girls. It's a sin to be too charming. Reader, why do people always use my image to write books? Seeing her harem being mesmerized by the man in front of her. Although Lu Mengli was distracted for a moment, lesbian was a little immune to handsome guys after all. Is something wrong? Looking at the stranger in front of her, Lu Mengli frowned slightly and asked in a clear voice. Hearing her voice, her harem came back to their senses, and their faces suddenly turned red with embarrassment. They turned their heads away, not daring to stare at Zhang Cheng's face again. But I couldn't help but take a peek. It's so handsome that I dare not look at it more. Zhang Cheng smiled slightly. Want to take my co-pilot seat? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 246. What? A group of girls were stunned when they heard this. Who is he talking about? Who should I put in the passenger seat? Could it be that he said it to Mengli? A group of girls looked at each other. The smile on Zhang Cheng's face remained unchanged and he looked at Lu Mengli quietly. He seemed to be waiting for her answer. Lu Mengli's face didn't change and she said calmly, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. She is not a casual person. Although Zhang Cheng is very handsome, he is not her cup of tea. What she likes more is the harem around her. Zhang Cheng didn't say anything. After getting the answer, he left with a smile. Seeing this scene, a group of people became even more confused. What does he mean? In the distance, Yayu, who was chatting with Wang Meng, had been paying attention to what was going on here. When he saw Zhang Cheng being rejected by Lu Mengli, a hint of ridicule appeared on his lips. Idiot, do you really think that having a few bad dollars can make others fall in love with you? Yayu himself didn't realize that he had a bad attitude towards Zhang Cheng for some reason. It seemed that seeing him deflated made Yayu very happy. Master Ye, can you take me home later? Just as he was thinking about it, Wang Meng's Lolita music sounded beside him. Yayu came back to his senses, showed a charming smile to Wang Meng, and said gently, okay. Got it? This will be the girl's first home run. Before hooking up with the goddess, he would use her to practice his skills. Of course, he is not the kind to just play around. If Wang Meng was still clean, Yayu wouldn't mind keeping her under his care. After all, she was a star. On the other side, after Zhang Cheng left Lu Mengli, he got into his Lamborghini Veneno and slowly drove onto the track. There were also 3 cars in this race, and Zhang Cheng's poison overwhelmed the Ferraris on both sides. The roar of the engine, the tire friction marks remaining on the track, and the pungent smell. And the cheering young men and women on both sides. Seeing Zhang Cheng alone in the car, Bai Fei couldn't help but walked over, sat in front of the window and said with a smile, Mr. Zhang didn't find a female companion? Why don't I bring you a girl to sit down with you? He also saw the scene where Zhang Cheng went to Lu Mengli, but he didn't hear the conversation between the two. Zhang Cheng politely rejected him and said, thank you so much, Mr. Bai, for your kindness, but it's the same for being alone. I just came over to have fun. Okay then. Bai Fei nodded and left the track. Zhang Cheng never thought about letting Lu Mengli sit as his co-pilot. Of course, that wouldn't be the case in the finals. Lu Mengli looks like a goddess, but in fact, she is crazier than men. In the original work, even Yayu couldn't suppress her too much. In the end, he relied on the halo of the protagonist to pierce Lu Mengli's heart. As for me, I will also follow the old path and use the methods in the original work to defeat her. 3,2,1, ready, start. Boom. The starting gun sounded, and the 3 supercars' tires scraped against the ground and rushed out instantly. Zhang Cheng didn't have much intention to give up, but he could still slow down a little bit, but he was still far ahead. Fuck, drift. This speed also crushed the previous 2 people, Yayu and Lu Mengli. The most important thing was that Zhang Cheng was calm after getting off the car. In the end, Zhang Cheng won the first place in this competition in exactly 2 minutes. Does this person have such strong driving skills? For a moment, neither of them wanted to talk to Zhang Cheng. They turned their heads and chatted with their respective seats. It's so shocking. Because if one person fails to control it well, it will lead to a car crash and death. Compared with before, Zhang Cheng is simply two different people. This clown has such driving skills. Ye Yu, who was next to Wang Meng on the other side, was shocked. Lu Mengli nodded secretly, and she can challenge it later. For him, this kind of track is not that difficult. After seeing Lu Mengli seem to be curious about Zhang Cheng, Ye Yu's discomfort became more obvious. But his words sounded so harsh to the two of them. This immediately gave her a sense of comparison. On the other side, Lu Mengli's face was also surprised. Even Qin Ming was slightly surprised. So he asked the harem beside him, "Hey, do you know who that person is?" But Zhang Cheng's drift without slowing down made Lu Mengli feel like she wanted to compete. She is very confident in her driving skills. Even Ye Yu from before, she didn't look down on, little one. Is he Zhang Cheng? Have a little fun drifting. Awesome, I can't learn this technique. Awesome, brother Cheng, the speed is 2 minutes. Returning to his previous seat, Lu Feng immediately complimented. Just so Zhang Cheng said casually. But with the blessing of God-level driving skills, Zhang Cheng's control of the car can be described as the integration of man and car. If he wanted to, he could complete a lap of the track in a minute and a half. From mysterious medical skills, as well as excellent investment ability and business talent, to his current driving skills. Although drifting is not uncommon, it is worth exclaiming when drifting on a high-speed road. Even if it's his first time playing. Is Mr. Jiang's driving skills so good? I've never seen him drag racing before. Zhang Cheng's driving skills seem to be only a little worse than mine. Humph, let's see how I can kill you instantly. After entering the finals, Ye Yu thought to himself. Following her gaze, the harem on Lu Mengli's left immediately replied, he is Zhang Cheng. There is a big gap between Zhang Cheng today and what he knew before. But it's not a compliment, Zhang Cheng is really awesome. When Zhang Cheng passed a corner, he made a special drift. Poison's elegant body and handsome drift made for a while, exclamations sounded on the field. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 247. The first round of competition quickly came to an end. The participating teams also changed from teams of 3 to teams of 2. That is to say, after this competition, there is still the last round. There are 3 rounds in total. This time Ye Yu bore the brunt and successfully drew the first group. The person competing against him was a second-generation rich man driving a neon-made GTR, which had been extensively modified. This kind of race with curves is not just about speed, but also about control. This is also the reason why the performance of the vehicles participating in the race is uneven. Zhang Cheng was drawn into the last group, and his opponent was Lu Mengli. The first group of competitors is ready, the referee shouted from the starting line. Ye Yu drove the Pagani slowly into the field, alongside the GTR on the track. Both cars started and each stepped on the accelerator. Oh oh oh, go, go, go. Guo Xiaochong. Master yet. Next to them, the rich second-generation people watching were booing. In the later stages of the game, the atmosphere is often the thickest. Because those who can advance are all racing experts. Boom. As gunfire rang out, 2 cars rushed out at the same time and a fierce fight began. Hey, we are rivals. Do you dare to compete? While everyone was watching on the field, Lu Mengli suddenly walked towards Zhang Cheng and shouted to him. I don't want to bully girls, Zhang Cheng said lightly without any surprise, smiling. Lu Mengli immediately felt unhappy when she saw his smile. What does it mean not to bully girls? Zhang Cheng, do you think your driving skills are very strong? Lu Mengli glanced at him and said mockingly, I think you don't dare anymore. Are you afraid that losing to me will make you, a billionaire CEO, very embarrassed? Lu Mengli felt that Zhang Cheng's refusal must be because he was afraid of losing. Are you so sure that you can win? Zhang Cheng asked happily after hearing this. Lu Mengli raised her proud little head and said arrogantly, of course, I haven't lost a few games abroad, but you can't do that. It's not that she looks down on the rich second generation here. But when she was studying in the United States, she participated in many drag racing races. The people here, except for Zhang Cheng and Yayu, are basically not as fierce as the rich second generation woman over there, their speed is too slow. Zhang Cheng laughed when he heard this, stood up and stretched his waist, and said easily, well, your strength is too weak, I don't want to compete with you. Hearing these words, Lu Mengli became even more unhappy. This is the first time that someone calls me a technical expert. Although she is usually very well behaved, she is just pretending. Lu Mengli looks very quiet, but on the inside she is not. She has a very lively personality. Moreover, the worst thing is to see others tell you that you are not good enough. Just like a man can't bear to see others tell him he's not good enough. Stop talking nonsense, let me ask you if you dare to compete with me. Lu Mengli glared at him and said bluntly. Zhang Cheng shrugged his shoulders and asked, okay, how do you want to compare? Hearing his promise, Lu Mengli immediately smiled, her smile was sweet and her voice was extremely sweet. How about you promise me 3 things if you lose? No problem, Zhang Cheng agreed directly. Seeing how readily he agreed, it was Lu Mengli's turn to be surprised. How confident was he? But if you lose, then you can give me a seat and treat me to a meal. Zhang Cheng stated his conditions leisurely. Lu Mengli nodded and agreed without thinking. Okay. This request is too simple, just treat me to a meal and sit in the co-pilot. Then it's a deal. Lu Mengli narrowed her eyes and smiled. I am alone and seeking defeat. Yeah, Zhang Cheng nodded. Wait, just when Lu Mengli was about to leave, Zhang Cheng suddenly stopped her. How? What do you want to do? Lu Mengli's delicate little face turned cold instantly. When she turned around, Zhang Cheng gently pinched her chin with 2 fingers, raised the corners of his lips slightly, and said with a faint smile, if you lose, you can wear women's clothes for another day. What is a girl doing wearing men's clothes? Lu Mengli slapped his hand away, raised her head and said, I'm happy. She just likes to wear men's clothes, so that having a harem will not be out of the ordinary. If you don't agree, then this bet will be void. Zhang Cheng chuckled. Lu Mengli raised her eyebrows, but out of confidence in her skills, she agreed, okay, no problem, then even if you lose, you can wear women's clothes for a day. She's so good looking. If she wears a wig, she must be a woman. Zhang Cheng's perfect face makes everyone jealous, no matter whether they are men or women, looking at it, there are almost no flaws. Lu Mengli also had a bad taste. She must win first place in this competition. Then ask Zhang Cheng to put on women's clothes and go for a walk with him on the street. He will definitely be on the hot search. Just thinking about it makes me excited. No problem. Zhang Cheng nodded, reached out and ruffled her hair, and said, what a pity, it's a lesbian. Lu Mengli looked at him and felt for a moment that he deserved to be beaten. But he still held it back, turned his head away proudly, left with a hum, and returned to the harem. Everyone who saw the scene was shocked. Even next to him, Lu Feng and Qin Ming opened their mouths in shock. No, did they hook up so quickly? Didn't you still like to ignore me before? Judging from the conversation between the two just now, they looked like they were acquaintances. Is this a natural acquaintance? Brother Cheng, I'm willing to accept the defeat, Lu Feng said seriously, clasping his fists. Qin Ming didn't want to speak and silently hugged the young model next to him tightly. It's so devastating. This scene was also seen by Yayu, who had just gotten out of the car after the competition. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 248. Hateful, Yayu gritted his teeth. Such a beautiful girl, I haven't figured out how to hook up with her yet, but this guy beat me to it. Humph, let me make you proud first. After I sign in and spend virtual currency to complete the task for a few months, I will definitely become the richest person in the Dragon Kingdom. There will be plenty of opportunities to bankrupt you then. When Ye Yu saw Lu Mengli for the first time, he already regarded her as his forbidden love. Never allow others to get involved. But now I have no choice, I am still too poor, I can only watch my woman being teased. This made him very unhappy. Although he was surrounded by a group of rich second-generation people and praised him, Ye Yu did not forget his current situation. Everything was still too weak. Master Ye, I'm dizzy. Just as Ye Yu was lost in thought, the petite actress Wang Meng got out of the co-pilot tremblingly, her voice weak. At this sound, young Master Ye pulled Ye Yu back. Ye Yu came to the passenger side, supported Wang Meng's delicate arm, walked to a corner where no one was paying attention, and began to comfort him with greetings. After more than 20 minutes, the remaining 3 groups also completed the game. Qin Ming was in the 3rd group and once again successfully advanced to the finals with his own skills. Come on, let me see how good your driving skills are. After it was Zhang Cheng and Lu Mengli's turn, Lu Mengli raised her delicate chin towards Zhang Cheng and said, "Don't worry, you will definitely be the one wearing women's clothing." Zhang Cheng smiled back. Looking at Zhang Cheng, who was fully charming, Lu Mengli's heart, which was not moved by men's lust, actually had a slight fluctuation when it came into contact with his smile. Lu Mengli quickly turned her head away from looking at him. He came to his pink Porsche, opened the door and got in. At the same time, there is also her harem. Zhang Cheng also drove his Lamborghini Veneno, which had been checked by the staff, onto the track. Watching the 2 most dazzling people take the stage, a group of young men and women were obviously more excited than before. Because these 2 people have very hardcore driving skills. Before the competition, Lu Feng touched the body of the young model next to him and said to Qin Ming, "Who do you think has a greater chance of winning?" Qin Ming recalled the operation and speed of the 2 people in the first round, and said with some uncertainty, "I think Lu Mengli may have a higher chance of winning." Because Lu Mengli was more diligent, although Zhang Cheng was very good at driving, he was still a bit mediocre before. "Go and have a gamble." Lu Feng looked towards the place where he was betting. Qin Ming nodded, "Okay. Then I'll bet Lu Mengli with you, let's bet 1 million for fun." "Whatever you want, I'll stake 5 million. "Damn, how dare you bet so much, I'll bet 2. Lu Feng cursed and walked over. Now he is not short of money. After all, his personal worth is now worth tens of billions. After placing their bets, the 2 returned to the audience stand and sat down, waiting for the game to begin. The track was quickly inspected and cleaned, and everyone was waiting to see who was stronger, the 2 most handsome boys in the field, and the most beautiful woman in the field. Ready, go. Boom. The 2 supercars rushed out at the same time, leaving smoke rising from the friction between the tires and the ground. Even the audience was dumbfounded. Just past it? Lu Feng can only describe the scene with 1 sentence. So shocking. After everyone was silent for a few seconds, they suddenly burst into excited screams. When accelerating in a straight line, the 2 are always on par. After seeing Lu Mengli taking the lead, Lu Feng suddenly smiled, "Ha ha ha, that's great. I got 5 million. Hey, Lao Qin, you have a very good vision." Finally, when encountering the first corner, Lu Mengli also imitated Zhang Cheng and made a drift to achieve overtaking. At the front, Lu Mengli also became excited after seeing her overtaking Zhang Cheng. Zhang Cheng looked at Lu Mengli driving in front of him, but an inexplicable smile rose at the corner of his mouth. In the final section of the road, Zhang Cheng always maintained half a car's distance ahead of Lu Mengli, and finally won her in 1 minute and 51 seconds. This is suitable for drag racing. Zhang Cheng smiled and said, Are you convinced? Sulking while sitting in a chair. What's going on? The front is still almost one car body behind. After the car stopped, Zhang Cheng got out of the car, leaned on the car, and winked at Lu Mengli, who was standing aside. However, Qin Ming beside him felt a little unnatural. Haha, yes. Zhang Cheng, Zhang Cheng. The sound tore through the darkness and surged amidst the cheers of the crowd. After seeing the tail lights of the car, Lu Mengli was dumbfounded. Just as she was thinking quickly, a car silhouette quickly rushed in front of her and made a beautiful drift. I don't accept it. Niu, Niubi. Are you happy? Zhang Cheng murmured to himself. Ah! Damn it, no way. Zhang Cheng directly overtook him. Lu Feng was also a little confused after seeing this scene. After reaching another corner, Lu Mengli slowed down a little, because this corner was a bit dead, and she wouldn't be sure if she didn't slow down. I saw some women's clothing. After thinking about it, the speed became a little faster. It doesn't slow down when cornering, it even speeds up. His eyes returned to the playing field. Lu Mengli's face was a little unhappy. She snorted, ignored him, and walked out of the arena. The drift that Zhang Cheng played just now can definitely only be seen in movies. Anyway, he was ahead of Zhang Cheng, so he could win by maintaining this speed. Although 5 million is nothing, it is still a lot of money. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 249. I don't accept it. How could I lose? How long has it been since you lost? Even abroad, I may not lose 1 out of 10 games. But I really lost just now. The more I think about it, the more depressed I become. Lu Mengli was almost depressed to death that she would lose. This. Now even if the harem group comes over, they can't comfort my injured little heart. Are you convinced? At this time, Zhang Cheng came over with 2 bottles of mineral water. Passing a bottle to Lu Mengli, Zhang Cheng twisted the cap and took a sip. Lu Mengli glanced at him and said depressedly, "You were just lucky, I was careless in front of you. But you just lost." Lu Mengli. Then what? Zhang Cheng looked at her holding her breath and couldn't help but want to laugh. Okay, I'm willing to admit defeat. You will sit down for me later, wear the women's clothes I provided for you tomorrow, and then have a meal with me. Lu Mengli. Why should I wear the women's clothing you provided? Lu Mengli quit. Wouldn't my own women's clothing work? Well, she doesn't have women's clothes. Not even a little skirt. Zhang Cheng said plausibly, because I am the winner. No. What if you bring me a strange costume? Do I have to wear it too? Lu Mengli refused. Don't worry, it's normal women's clothing. I'll pick you up tomorrow. Give me prestige. With that said, Zhang Cheng took out his mobile phone and asked Lu Mengli to scan for him. Although Lu Mengli didn't want to, she still took out her mobile phone to scan the QR code and added him as a friend. Putting away his phone, Zhang Cheng stood up and prepared to leave. Okay, don't forget to hold my seat for a while. Oh, Lu Mengli said forcefully. Zhang Cheng didn't pay attention and walked straight to Qin Ming and Lu Feng. On the other side, Yayu was jealous again. Hateful. He actually added the prestige of the goddess. Envy, jealousy, hate. But there was no way, Yayu didn't have the courage to go up and chat with Lu Mengli now. Because I don't know much about the rich second generation, if she brags in front of Lu Mengli and is found out, her good impression of herself will definitely drop. Lu Mengli is not a girl like Wang Meng. When you see yourself greeting her, you will be completely moved. Hey, bear with me any longer, Yayu sighed inwardly. Looking at Wang Meng beside him, he hugged her. When Wang Meng was shy and wanted to refuse, he gradually did some excessive things. Fortunately, there is also a petite lowly girl. On the other side, Lu Feng and Qin Ming were quarreling. Lu Feng had his hands on his waist and kept taunting Qin Ming, "You are so unjust. You tricked me into keeping Lu Mengli safe, but then you turned around and bought Zhang Cheng. What the hell, Qin Ming, you are a thief, can you be a human being? 5 million. Lu Feng felt heartbroken when he thought about it. How many young models and one-stop services could I use with 5 million? Qin Ming didn't care and even smiled. If we all bought Lu Mengli, then where would you put Zhang Cheng's face? I was really optimistic about Lu Mengli at that time, but I couldn't let Zhang Cheng lose face, right? So, I resolutely planned to let myself suffer losses, and I can't let you suffer either." After hearing what he said, Lu Feng was so angry that his teeth itched. "Damn it, just you can say it, right? Think about it, although 5 million is not a big sum, it is still a lot of money. I can't let you lose it. Get out. I won't listen. I'm not happy." Zhang Cheng came over and after listening to the whole process, he couldn't help but want to laugh. These two guys know how to play. He dared to conclude that Qin Ming was definitely cheating Lu Feng. You can tell by looking at this guy's smile that Qin Ming is not a good guy. After he sat down, Qin Ming immediately changed the topic and chatted with Zhang Cheng about Lu Mengli. "If I win this time, will Lu Mengli really wear women's clothes to have dinner with you tomorrow?" Qin Ming was a little envious at this time. Lu Mengli's appearance is comparable to that of two female CEOs, Su Yao and Song Yiwei. One of the two female CEOs has a domineering personality, the other has a cold personality, while Lu Mengli has a youthful and lively personality. Each has its own merits, and both are intoxicating. It's a pity, two of these three people are related to Zhang Cheng. There is only one Song Yiwei, and now the Song family has become low-key. At least Qin Ming rarely sees Song Yiwei active in the public eye. Upon hearing Qin Ming's question, Lu Feng also pricked up his ears to eavesdrop. It's a pity that Lu Mengli is also named Lu. But it doesn't stop him from gossiping. Of course, after all, it's the bet I won back. Zhang Cheng nodded. And I feel very unhappy about this girl. I need to train her carefully and let her know that girls only look best when they wear women's clothes. Hearing his answer, the two of them were speechless. LSP is just LSP, why make so many excuses? However, after seeing his appearance, the two fell into silence again. It seems that Lu Mengli cannot escape from the clutches of LSP. For young girls like this who have just graduated from college, Zhang Cheng's face is enough to make them fall in love. As long as the blowjob is good, there is no girl who wouldn't fall in love with her looks and that mouth. The two of them turned their heads away in unison, and each played with the young model, as if this was the only way to soothe their sour hearts. Soon, the track and vehicles were inspected. This time, the 5 people are competing for speed, 1 car per round, and whoever is faster will be ranked first. After the competition started and the finalists were called to enter, Zhang Cheng went over to draw lots. Likewise, this time Yayu was first and Zhang Cheng was last. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 250. The last 5 contestants gathered on the field. Qin Ming stood next to Zhang Cheng and whispered, "Do you think you are sure to win against this powerful shark live broadcaster?" He kept observing the contestants. In the end, it was discovered that Yayu, who had always been unknown and made no noise, was the most likely to rival Zhang Cheng's driving skills. Because he found that Yayu, like Zhang Cheng, seemed to be able to control his own speed. This is worthy of his solemnity. "No problem." Zhang Cheng glanced at Yayu at the side and said calmly. "There is still a big gap between level 9 driving skills and god level driving skills. Although Yayu's car is a Pagani Zonda, he does not dare to race at full speed on this track. Because, he has not yet come out of the nouveau riche mentality. I am still cautious about my car. The driving performance of monsters also depends on the person. At their level, winning depends on detailed operations. And Zhangcheng's poison won't be any worse. As if feeling Zhangcheng's gaze, Yayu, who was still full of luck at this time, turned his head and glanced at him. Finally, smile. I will definitely win this last round. In a car skill competition, with the car skills rewarded by the system, I don't believe that I can't beat this group of rich second-generation people. When the game started, Yayu stepped into the car with his own press seat. Started, finally, under the shocked eyes of a group of people, he quickly completed a lap. The final time was 1 minute and 45 seconds. This result is definitely the fastest in the game. When he got out of the car, a hint of vague pride flashed in his eyes. His co-pilot, Wang Meng, looked paler than the previous 2 times, almost shaky, and struggled to get out of the car. But this time Yayu didn't come to help her. Because Lu Mengli can see it on the field. Although he was confident of taking down Lu Mengli later, it was better not to leave a bad impression on her at the moment. Finally, the other 3 finished running. Qin Ming, a quiet person, was actually able to achieve the second best result in the competition, 1 minute and 55 seconds. The difference from Yayu is 10 seconds. In the end, it was Zhangcheng's turn. The whole place was on fire again. Like Yayu before, Mr. Zhang, who had never participated in a drag racing competition, was also a dark horse player. Zhangcheng drove alone the first 2 times. This time, someone got on his co-pilot, Lu Mengli. This made the whole place even more excited. The goddess got on Zhangcheng's co-pilot. Oh my god, the 2 of us were rivals before, and now we're together. Bah, why are you talking so unpleasantly? What do you mean by doing it? This is called being fair and above board. Don't make any noise. I beat Mr. Ye by 200,000 yuan. I hope Zhangcheng is not as fast as him. I staked Mr. Zhang for 500,000. Before the game started, a group of people were discussing excitedly. After Zhangcheng got into the car, Lu Mengli also got in. Seat belt. As Zhangcheng said this, he turned sideways, pulled down the passenger seat belt and fastened it for Lu Mengli. Feel the smell that Zhangcheng brings when he comes sideways. Lu Mengli only felt a little hot on her face. But Lu Mengli didn't react until he fastened his seat belt. I originally planned to tie it myself. Soon, the game begins. Zhangcheng concentrated on driving the sports car. In Lu Mengli's eyes, the scenery outside the window turned into afterimages, and the car drove through the wind. Zhangcheng took first place with a time of 1 minute and 35 seconds. Maid, is this really the first time for Mr. Zhang to do drag racing? Lu Mengli just took one look and lost interest, and replied coldly, Lu Mengli. Soon, Zhangcheng completed a lap. P.S. The 5th update has been delivered. Please give me a gift and a reminder video. Do not worry. Hey, I got 1 million. Okay, the game is over. I will pick you up tomorrow and bring you some women's clothes. Zhangcheng held a bottle of juice in his hand, sat next to Lu Mengli, and chuckled. Zhangcheng's face was filled with a smile. Zhangcheng, do we know each other? I didn't expect that there is such a master in the Magic City. Number 5, 1 minute and 35 seconds. After the game, the racing track became lively. Not even Zhangcheng's Hua yet, smiling so happily, is he becoming a groom? Qin Ming, the bastard, became third. This speed made her start to appreciate the night view that was skipped by the speed of takeoff. Everyone was eagerly waiting for the referee to announce the result. Hello, my name is Yayu, from Kyoto. Because drag racing is just a gimmick, What really needs to be done is to hold various parties to get to know the new rich second generation or have some familiarity with them. Fuck. Another 10 seconds ahead. As Zhangcheng completed the race, this time the drag racing competition also came to an end. Just don't bring me weird clothes, otherwise I won't admit it, Lu Mengli reminded again. Lu Mengli curled her lips. Oh. For example, Yayu, a newly emerging hero. Really unhappy. Until the two of them became more and more engaged in chatting, an inappropriate voice sounded. While the two were chatting, no one came over to interrupt them. Boy, I'm sorry, can I get to know you? Yayu was second. A group of people started chatting around Yayu, and Yayu also relied on his chatting skills to chat and laugh with everyone. If he hadn't met these two cheaters, Qin Ming would definitely be the first in this drag racing competition. Then. This is the focus of this gathering. They both raised their heads and looked at the handsome young man standing in front of them. That's it for an international racing driver. After hearing the referee's voice, everyone was silent for a few seconds.